Right, okay. I've been meaning to make this video for a very long time. I started the channel back in 2025 or maybe the end of 2024. But anyway, that's besides the point. This video is about this massive assumption with regards to, oh, when I retire, I'm gonna go and do a meditation retreat, or I'm going to go for a cruise around the world for 3 or 6 months, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that, or I'm going to do. But anyway, the the reality of the situation is that the biggest mistake people make regarding retirement is that they don't save enough. Obviously, nobody knows when their time is going to be. But we're not going to go into that direction. What I want to talk about is the issues with regards to retirement and what and how you need to think about it. First of all, um, failing to save enough money. The other one is starting too late because the younger people, when you're in your 20s and your 30s and even in your 40s, it's like saving is for old people. And it's like, well, that makes absolutely no sense at all. Um, or the other one is procrastination. I'll do that later on. And then the following year, it's the same thing. So the other assumption is with regards to social security. Oh, I'll get to social security and I'll live off that. But they don't know what social security is going to be in the future, do they? But also, um, the other one is the pension. It's like, oh, okay, I'm going to have a pension, but if your pension is tied to the stock market, and when you retire, the stock market crashes, and the pension fund goes bust, then all that money with regards to retirement is gone. So that's another thing people don't think about. The way that I look at it, and this is only my opinion, is that how you should how you should think about it is the age that you're at is completely in line with how much you take home. Not how much you make, because that doesn't make any sense at all. Basically, what your net is. So let me explain this. Then we're going to go on to other um, issues with regards to the retirement myth. Um, so if somebody is 45 years old, they should be taking home £45,000 or $45,000 in America and other countries as well that use the dollar system. If you are 35, you should be taking home net into your bank account £35,000 a year. Now, some people might think, well, that doesn't make any sense, but hear me out. As you get older, your income should automatically increase, regardless of what the financial system is doing. It could be crashing, it could be pumping, could be trending sideways. That's totally, completely irrelevant. What you should be aiming for is that if you're 50, you should be netting 50,000 a year in your hand. If you're 60, 60,000. If you're 70, 70,000. If you're 80, 80,000. Now, people can't sit back and tell me, oh, well, that doesn't make any sense. Well, listen to this. If you're 19, yeah, because it's about compounding as well. If you're 19 and you're making £19,000 a year, you're not making, that's what you're bringing in, 19,000. If you're 20, you bring in 20,000. But people say, oh, well, what about if I go to college or if I have to go to uni? That's totally irrelevant as well, because I'll come into that as well. So if you're 22, you take your net is 22,000. If you're 24, 24,000. The other side with regards to the compounding aspect is if you go to college and you leave, and then you go to uni and then you leave uni, and you're like, okay, then I've got 50,000 worth of student loan debt. If you think about the income cycle from when you was 16, 17, and you could have been working. Obviously, you chose to go to college, or you chose to go to uni. You finish college, you finish uni. Stay with me. You finish college, you finish uni. When you finish, you then get employed. So you're like, okay, then fine, I'm employed. I'm 26. I'm making 40,000 a year. Yeah, that is what you're taking home. If you're 26 and you're making 40,000, the gap between the 40,000 and the 26 is how much? Yeah, how much is it? It's £14,000 or $14,000, right? So that's the compounding effect. So if you're 28 and you're making 46,000, yeah, you can see where it's compounding. But by the time you get to 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, all of that is compounding. And the other thing, if you're taking that excess income that you're getting, because most people, they'll be comfortable with regards to, I'm 40, I'm bringing in 40 a year. Um, and if you take that extra income that you don't necessarily need and invest it, that is going to make you even more income. So your age matches your net income. Yeah. If you check, then you'll see what I mean. If you do like a 30-year or a 40-year timeline, you'll see what I'm talking about. Nobody ever, as far as I know, has ever looked at this type of, okay, my income is this and this is how old I am scenario. But moving on, uh, understanding healthcare long term care costs. So they're basically saying your medical insurance, it doesn't cover everything um, in your older years. The reliability or the reality of Medicare um, tends to be things like memory care, which is horrible, um, nursing homes, which is extremely important. If you don't have any supporting family around you, which can cost tens of thousands of dollars a year, but people don't think about that. There are things that you can do. So you can budget for contingencies by having a long term care insurance while you're younger. If you're like 60 or 55 or what have you, then it's going to be a bit more difficult, but it can be done. Because there are some countries that you can get insurance costs up to and in well into the six figures. But that's for another video. We're just talking about the issues in terms of retirement, and how many people are unprepared for retiring. I don't know why people are so um, incredibly optimistic that by the time they retire, they'll have like really good health and all the rest of it, because that's not necessarily true either. So it could have an act. Anyway, we're not going to go there. We're just going to continue. So have healthcare contingencies built into your budget when you're younger. Um, the other thing is inflation. Um, so your cost of living is going to be more expensive in the future due to inflation. If you want to make if you want me to make a video on that, then let me know. Um, Inflation um, over a 20 to 30-year retirement is quite severe. They're currently saying, and it's kind of laughable, that they want inflation at 2%. If you go to the grocery store and you buy, I don't know, onions, for example, and the onions that you bought, it was a free pack, and the onions that you bought were $2. And then you go back the following year, and those same free onions are now $5. Then inflation is running at like 40, 50, 60%, right? And they're talking about inflation at 2%. Absolute nonsense. Um, you also need to make sure that your retirement portfolio um, is outpacing inflation as well. So if you're looking at stocks that can outpace inflation, if you're looking at commodities that can or keep up with inflation, things like gold and silver and platinum and nickel and what have you, um, you can also have low yield cash or bond accounts, which may be in line with the inflation. So you're not losing your purchasing power, which is fine. You have to maintain a realistic spending plan. So some people will say, "Well, I only need $2,000 to live," and then they realize, "Okay, my car broke down. I need to fix the car. Or I need to buy now another car," but they didn't include that in their spending plan. So you need to have like a buffer to make sure that things like that um, are accounted for. So if it happens, you have a buffer that will support that. The other thing is that a lot of people, when they get to the retirement age, they can't retire because, first of all, as I said before, they haven't saved enough. Secondly, they haven't invested anything. That's the other thing. Massive problem. They haven't saved. They haven't invested anything. They're like, yeah, the government's going to save me. That's absolute bogus. Government is not here to save you. Um, the government will never save you. That's not the government's job. Um, the notion of, yeah, the government's going to save me. I've been working for 40 years. When I retire, even if you have early retirement and you decide to retire at 55, um, or take part of your pension at 55, like I know some people have, instead of waiting until they're in their 60s, and they're like, yeah, I'm going to take my pension now. And then it's like, okay, then how much have you got set aside? Because when you take a pension, it's going to be taxed, right? It's not free, is it? But when you're contributing, it's free. But when you come to draw it, it's there's tax on it. but it depends what country you're in as well. But most retirees or attempt or alleged retirees can't retire, so they have to work part time to top up their income. So it depends on the person's lifestyle. So so that's an issue. Um, they also have they also have not thought properly about what they're going to do when they retire. They might say, "Yeah, I want to go. What's it called? I want to go and visit this country, or I want to go and visit that country," and then it's like, okay, then who can go with you? Because some people will not be able to go because it's not like when you're younger and people are like, yeah, yeah, we can all like go together. We can stay um, at such and such a place, or we can all crash in an Airbnb or what have you. When you're, I think when you're older, you don't want that type of situation or scenario. You want your own space. So you're not going to be well when you're in your 60s and 70s or 80s or 90s or whatever you're not going to be like crashing on the floor. You know what I mean? With an air mattress. You know what I mean? Because it's like no, it doesn't make any sense. But that's about it. It's just a short video to kind of give you an idea with regards to okay then your first of all, the government's not going to save you. That's the first thing, because your pension is not enough to carry you through the year. If you're relying on your pension, your pension is going to be like a sliver of what you need. Your pension will probably just pay for your food and maybe pay for one or two bills, like if you have a phone bill or if you have, it's even worse if you have credit cards, right? If you can't stop spending and you have to keep putting stuff on a credit card, that's also going to be an issue because at some point that's got to be paid back. And if you don't pay it back, you'll be forever paying off the credit card, even if you just pay the minimum amount. And that's going to be an issue running into the future. So to recap, government's not going to save you. Two, make sure you have enough investments. Three, make sure you have cash flow or you have a massive cash cushion that you can fall back on. Um, Four, don't chase other people's lifestyle. Five, don't give a what people think about you, how you dress, what you look like. As long as you're neat and tidy and you don't have like a beard like Dumbledore, or you don't have your hair like a scarecrow, then you'll be fine, right? Um, so also make sure that your nourishment is also good. So don't eat like loads and loads of junk food. That's totally not the situation or not the path to go down. Make sure you're eating healthy. Make sure you're drinking healthy. Um, that's on the nutrition side, but I just want to focus on the financial side. So make sure you have your cash cushion. Make sure you have a plan with regards to how and what you're going to do with regards to retirement. I would check your investments and portfolio probably on a 6 monthly basis to make sure that everything is performing as it should. I don't know if this video is going to help anyone. I hope it does. But the biggest takeaway with regards to what I've been saying is that if your income matches your age, then I think, personal opinion, you should be absolutely fine. But most people aren't. But if you want me to do a more in-depth video, let me know. So I thank you for listening. Like and subscribe. I'd like to do more content like this because it's all related to finance, and finance is very important in everybody's lives because it affects everyone. Um, whether you have $1 million, I don't know, $50 or $50,000, everybody's affected by finance. So please like and subscribe, turn on notifications, smash the like button, and I will see you in the next one. Take good care of yourself. Cheers. Bye.